Good morning, everyone. This is Lynn Gibbs with Tug Hill Tomorrow Land Trust. It's time for virtual birding. I'm going to wait just a minute to see if anyone is going to join me this morning. Our topic this morning is baby birds. Baby birds. Baby birds are awesome. Look at that bird, so hungry, wanting those caterpillars from its bluebird mother or father. Look at that beautiful bluebird feeding his baby. I don't know why my camera is doing that. How is everybody this morning? Boy, it's been hot and humid here, and yesterday cooled right down, and today is the same, so it's really comfortable. We're so lucky about that. Welcome to virtual birding on Wednesday. In August already. Yes, and today we're going to talk about baby birds because we've been getting some calls from people and messages from people finding baby birds and wondering what to do. So I'm just going to flip the picture here. Maybe. So I wanted to talk about the different kinds of baby birds and what you should do. So this, of course, is a parent feeding its bird. Parents will be around and they will look after their young when they're on the ground, even though you may not see them around a lot. You want to make a distinction between the birds that you find. These birds have no feathers. They can't really lift themselves. Their eyes aren't open. All right, so if you find a bird like this, it's fallen out of the nest or it's been maybe knocked out by a predator, these birds, you want to try and locate the nest and place them back in the nest. So if you find a struggling bird on the ground, it has no feathers, it can't really move well, it should still be in its nest. Okay, it's a nestling. The parents will take care of it if you place it back in the nest. Birds can't smell, so they won't smell anything and stay away from their baby bird. If you touch a baby bird, you'll be fine. So you want to, these guys who are really pretty helpless, you want to put back in a nest, or you can create a little cup of a nest and put them in a protected spot close to where you found them so that the parent could find them. And then you want to watch at a distance to make sure that the parent is caring for them and that you might want to keep your animals indoors for a while until you know it's being cared for, and or you can place it back in the nest so that it's not being hurt by a cat or dog or another bird. And then the other kind of bird you might find is a nestling. A nestling has feathers. And it can't fly, but it can lift its head, it can hop a little bit, and it has feathers. This bird is fledging from the nest. For about a week, baby birds can't fly, and their parent will be around and caring for them and giving them food and encouraging them to move around and explore. But they, if you put these guys back in the nest, usually they hop right back out. So what you want to do with this bird is leave it on the ground and leave it alone if you can. If it looks injured or it has been harmed by a predator or it's really struggling, you can seek out a rehabber and see if they will be able to help you. But most of the time, if you put these birds in a sheltered place at the base of a bush or somewhere where they're a little bit sheltered from the heat and they're protected from predator's view, the parent, and you back away, the parent usually will find the bird and take care of it and tend to it for the week until it can fly on its own. Another option you can do is to use a basket or cardboard box, put the bird inside an open topped container and put that container near where you found it in a sheltered place, and then watch and make sure that the parent is looking after the bird. That at least will protect it from ground predators that might notice it right away. A shallow container is great because they are starting to hop around and they're starting to learn to fly, so that will help. So this is a fledgling. Fledgling birds have feathers and can move, lift their heads and move about. Okay, so fledgling, I'm going to go back to the nestling to show the difference. The nestling is the helpless one that you should try and put back in the nest so that the parents can find it and look after it. So baby birds. And this time of year, we won't see as many baby birds as we did in June. A lot of the later nesters are fledging their babies, and or those that produce 3 broods in a year, if the food is good, like Phoebe's, will produce up to 3 broods a year. So that might be a late brood or a 3rd brood, and so there are baby birds about. And there you go. The great place to go to find a rehabber if you need to is to the Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC, and when I get off this, I will put that link to the rehabber page, the list of certified rehabbers in New York, to our in the comments, so that if you need to reach a rehabber, I will do that. Okay. Yay! I've been seeing some really cool birds this summer. I'm gonna flip around to me so I can talk to you. I am inside because my other computer is not working and I can't be on my porch. But anyway, here we go. Hi. So this month, what have I seen? I've seen a bald eagle. I've seen common loons, which are really cool, on the water while I was kayaking. So I've had some really great sightings for me this summer. Anybody else? Anybody have some good bird sightings this last month or so? Anybody have any questions? Have you found baby birds hanging around? Another question I have during this time of year is, where did my birds go from my bird feeder? Sometimes they take a little break because around this time, those birds, some of them are still fledging, of course, they're young, that we just talked about, but many of them have had a busy spring and summer feeding their young and fledging their young, and their feathers get really beat up during that time, going in and out of nesting areas and doing a lot of flying and catching prey. So they are, most birds are molting at this time. So they're losing their feathers and growing new ones, and they're not as nimble during that time as they were when they had a full bank of feathers. So they're a little bit quieter during this month before migration because they're growing in new feathers. They tend to not sing quite as much, and they tend to not visit feeders quite as much because all of that exposes them to their predators. So you may be seeing a little lull at your feeders. You'll probably see them once they're molted fully. They'll come back and load up before they start to move south. Some birds have already moved south. Some shorebirds are starting to move already. So we're starting to see a little bit of grouping of birds as well. You'll see birds in flocks and not so much in pairs start to emerge. So take a look at that at your feeders, and note any odd looking birds, because sometimes when the birds molt, they look a little odd. We had a question about one bird at a feeder that looked like a cardinal, but it didn't have a crest, and its head was black and small and round. And that was because it had lost all of its head feathers at once and was growing them in. The rest of the body looked like a cardinal, but the head was black and smaller and not feathered. So sometimes you can see some anomalies out there. You can always message us, and I can try and answer your questions if you have questions about odd things that you're seeing at your feeders. So there you have it, folks. Baby birds, Baby Bird 101. If you find a baby bird, the best thing is to leave it where it was. If it's a nestling, though, and it doesn't have any feathers, it's a great idea to look around if you find the nest where it fell out of, to put it back in there. And if the bird hops out again, it's probably a fledgling, and you should leave it where it is. The parent will take care of it. If it's injured and you've watched it for a day and there's no parent coming to help it, you can call a rehabber from the list on the Department of Environmental Conservation rehab list. And that's a quick summary. I hope you're all doing well. Have you, no comments here. Any questions? Anything for me this morning? I'm so glad you're with us. Thank you for watching. If you say hi, I'll know who you are. I don't have a name. I just have numbers right now. This is a really short live today. I went very fast. All right. I'm going to sign off then. Be on the lookout for the babies. Be on the lookout for a little increase in your birds at your feeders before they start to migrate again. Happy birding. I hope you have a great month, and we'll talk to you in September.